Social media, specifically X, has been on one recently. And since it's been owned by Elon Musk, I think it's better. And I don't think it's even close. The For You tab is hilarious. And yesterday, when I had a little downtime, I was on X, and there are just a few posts that I need to share with you just to lighten up the podcast a little bit, just to get a good little laugh in to begin the show. So this one comes from the Babylon Bee website, and it's making fun of the DNC that's happening in Chicago. Take a look at this image, if you can see it here. It says, "Oh man at DNC thinking he was in line for a food truck accidentally gets vasectomy." Little thing about vasectomies. I didn't realize how popular these things were until a few years ago at a church event, and the guys were discussing when they were getting their vasectomies. I'm scared to get a vasectomy. I don't want to chop off this thing that makes my thing tick. I don't know. It's just a little scary. But, I get why people do it. They don't want to wear condoms their entire life, right? So there's pros and there's cons, but I don't know. I'm a little uncomfortable with it personally. But you look at this picture, and it does look like a food truck. Oh my goodness. It's really sad that they're offering free abortions and free vasectomies at the DNC. But the way that they could turn this and make it into something humorous, I think is absolutely hilarious. But we are a Minnesota Vikings podcast, so we're going to talk about the Minnesota Vikings today. And the topic that I wanted to talk about last week or the week before, can't really remember when it even happened, was about J.J. McCarthy, the Minnesota Vikings rookie quarterback. Because I'm excited, as everybody else is, about J.J. McCarthy and his reps and his spectacular play versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The throws to Tristan Jackson, to Sherfield, the throw that he had across the middle of the field as he was getting completely crushed by a defensive tackle from the Las Vegas Raiders. That's a big boy throw. He made throws on 4th down to convert. He made plays on 3rd down to convert. He just overall looked like he had pocket awareness, had great touch, had great speed, had great arm strength. It seemed like he delivered it all. He had one interception that I don't even think was terrible because it was a 3rd down play. It's an incompletion. You're punting the ball anyways, or you're attempting a 65-yard field goal. Big deal. So fast forward, the week of his injury, and Kevin O'Connell made some comments. I think it was on the Diana Rossini podcast, where he was discussing the impact and the future of J.J. McCarthy, and he said something about, "I can sleep easy at night knowing that we have our franchise quarterback of the future." And Minnesota Vikings fans agreed with that, but I keep on going back to this comment. And of course, you've got to understand where the comments are coming from. It's coming from the head coach that drafted J.J. McCarthy. So from his perspective, the Minnesota Vikings have their franchise quarterback. But let's lay out the facts, okay? The facts are this. J.J. McCarthy played one preseason game versus the Las Vegas Raiders, who are not a good football team, and had some very nice throws. He played very well in this game. Now, J.J. McCarthy has not proven anything because he played well in one preseason game. If that was the case, then there would hardly be any buzz that come out of the NFL draft that are quarterbacks. I'm sure Christian Ponder had a great preseason game. You look it up. I'm sure he did. I'm sure other rookie quarterbacks in the league that didn't make it in the league past 5 years had great preseason games. Now, it's not a bad thing that he had a great preseason game, but we don't have to overreact and call it something that it's not. You know, the first reaction is, oh, we've got our superstar franchise guy for the next 10 to 15 years. How do we know that? And think about it in the reverse way. If J.J. McCarthy performed poorly in the first preseason game, that wouldn't mean either that he would be a bad quarterback for the future of the Minnesota Vikings. So I just want to pump the brakes on this reaction of J.J. McCarthy being the long-term succession plan for the Minnesota Vikings. That's the goal. That's the hope. That's what we want. But does it necessarily mean that it's going to happen? Because he played well in one preseason game versus a vanilla defense from a team that didn't make the playoffs last year and it wasn't even close to sniffing the playoffs last year. I think we need to look at J.J. McCarthy and his performance more reserved than we are right now, because we're picturing all of these things in our mind and we're talking about how great of a quarterback he's going to be when all he gave us was 2 quarters versus the Las Vegas Raiders' first and second team defense where he played good. But there was no defensive design. There was no tactics to try to get J.J. McCarthy off his spot or uncomfortable. There was no game plan against J.J. McCarthy. He was playing against a vanilla defense. And I'm excited about him just as much as everybody else is. But I'm also looking at things from a perspective of, okay, it was one preseason game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Can we chill out a little bit on crowning this guy the next superstar quarterback in the NFL? And of course, that's not the hot take. The hot take is, oh, J.J. McCarthy is going to be a top 5 QB in the league. He's the guy. He's got the it factor. He commands the huddle. He does all these things. And that's the exciting take. That's the hot take. That's the exciting take. That's the take that everyone wants to listen to and watch. But I'm a guy that likes to find the middle ground. You know, when we're going shopping for a dishwasher, I don't buy the $5,000 dishwasher, but I also don't buy the $500 dishwasher. I buy the dishwasher in the middle, $2,500 or whatever. I don't know if there's dishwashers that are $5,000. You get the point. I find the center. I don't go to the drastic, oh, he's the greatest quarterback ever, and I go to the drastic, this guy's a bum. There's no chance he's going to be successful if he has a bad preseason game. The middle. The facts, real life, perspective, excitement, the middle. J.J. McCarthy. Is he the guy for the future for the Minnesota Vikings? They sure hope so. But has he proven that he's that guy yet? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.